Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. Let's see who's in. Michael Fontaine, Shari DD74, Angels Don't Fall, Raven Hawk, Colorado Skywatch, Kai Lucas Zachary, Heart's Truth, Linda Lava Lamp, Jumping Ship. Probably some others will come on in. Okay, so kind of a quiet week this week. I didn't have a lot of them. So unless you guys got any you want to bring up, I've got like five or six, which is kind of a slow week for me. And I did look for them, so it's definitely a slow week. I don't think I have any personal Mandelas this week either. Okay, so this one is from a user on Retconned by the name of Queen V4. Like V is in Victor, FOR. So good find, Queen V4. Okay, so who remembers bears hibernating? So I remember they slept, then there was even on the retconned discussion, a lot of people remembered seeing video of them like sacked out so hard that researchers could sneak in there and steal the babies and like weigh them and check them out and then like stuff them back. So they would stay. The females wouldn't even wake up if you snatched the baby bears. So that's how hard they were out. So apparently it's not really like that anymore. Now they let's see, let me find this now. Many animals once thought to hibernate, including bears, really only enter a lighter sleep state called torpor. Like hibernation, torpor is a survival tactic used by animals to survive the winter months, triggered by the colder temperatures and decreased food availability. Torpor also involves decreasing breathing, blah, blah, blah. Bears can sleep more than 100 days without eating, drinking, or passing waste. Blah, blah, blah. Unlike hibernation, torpor is not voluntary and often lasts for shorter periods of time. During their active period of the day, animals in torpor maintain a normal body temperature. But while they are inactive, they enter a deeper than normal sleep that allows them to conserve energy. So now they don't really, it's like a light sleep, and if you mess with them, they're going to kick your butt. During torpor, the animal is able to wake up quickly to avoid danger, or if the opportunity exists, to exit the den to feed. Waking expends energy and involves violent shaking and muscle contractions, much like shivering. I've never heard of that. So what? In order to wake, they have to violently shake. The energy loss is offset by how much energy is saved in the torpor state. Females bears waken from torpor to give birth. Smaller animals tend to hibernate, and larger animals tend toward torpor. So I'm starting to hear the torpor stuff the last few years, but bears always hibernated. I find it highly unlikely that they didn't know that bears could wake up and kick your butt. And this whole violent shivering, shaking, muscle contractions thing, I've never heard of that until just now, even though I've been reading on the torpor thing for a while. So I think it's a little suspicious. What's next? Shakes won't shed. Yeah, I know. Bears aren't. I mean, bats aren't blind. Lemmings don't jump off cliffs. Skunks no longer have one stripe. What else is there? There's a lot of those. Just reading the comments. I'm almost tempted to. Shaking bear syndrome. Yeah. Shaking bear syndrome. They used to just wake up all sleepy. Now they got to do the like a little spasm thing. Never heard of that word torpor. Should really check that again. Like, how long do they have to shake for? Waking expends energy, involves violent shaking and muscle contractions, much like shivering. I don't really get why you'd have to do all that. Doesn't seem very efficient. This timeline is exhausting. Yeah, I don't know. It's let's see. Do snakes really? I'm just gonna. As far as I know, they still do, but I'm just gonna stick it in there because. All right, snakes are still shedding. Dun, dun. Yep. Okay, that's still there. I know how much longer. Sharks aren't the only ones to have extra rows of teeth anymore. That used to be a thing. Sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I don't know. You know how much longer? Maybe they'll split by like, they'll just split in half or some crazy snake thing. I don't know what'll happen. Okay, so bears no longer hibernate. All right, so this one is from John Austin. Do you notice anything different about the Statue of Liberty? This is a more recent one. I've got these two photos, but you can see what I'm looking at from there. So there's other changes that we've noticed on other days, but what's since the last time, basically? Actually, I'm looking at, I see another one that might be part of it too. I'm going to pull up a few more of them. I've got like two. Because I just saw another one. It's Nancy Reagan. Just looking at this face. So one of the things I'm kind of noticing right now is, okay. Ooh, this one's clickable. I'm gonna, yeah, she's high. She's not. She's doing the shaking, statue syndrome here. Butterflies eat flesh. Camel's front teeth has changed. Animal pupils have changed. Yep. No purple rain yet. Oh, I think we have purple rain. We've had purple rain. Real purple. Or maybe that was snow. I think we've had purple snow. The real meaning of purple rain. All right. The rain was purple. Let's try that way. Nope, still, you're never going to find it with prints in the way. No prints. Too hard to find. I give up. Yeah, well, the red rain of, was it Carvala? I think it was. There was in India, it rained red. And then some people said they've found like red cells in it, and then other people like, no, it's just um like pollen that blew in on the wind. And what's with the eye? Yeah, that was one thing I was looking at. Her eye. We've looked at that one enough, and so I'm seeing different stains now. Maybe we'll get blue plastic snow falling up. There'll be some scientific, a totally rational scientific explanation for it, I'm sure. Yeah, I was looking at there was a website, 9 facts about Statue of Liberty, and one of the questions was, is the statue a man or a woman? I'm like, you would never have asked that in my old timeline because it was obviously a woman, but now, it's not really obvious anymore, is it? But I mean, that would have been a ridiculous question. Okay, so some stuff. John Austin was mentioning the this used to be a book way back, but it's been like a slate for a long time. And she holds it, he just mentioned the slate. In my opinion, she holds it a lot lower than she used to. Not a lot, but it's sunk down since the last time we looked. And I think that it's been sinking down for a while now. She used to hold it up tight, and now it's like, bleh, like her arms getting tired. Okay, so the other thing I noticed right away is this giant brown stain on there, because before she'd had some dark greenish stains in places, but now there's a giant hideous stain on there. You can still kind of see it on this one right there. The other one I really noticed is these lines under her neck are really more defined now and longer than they were. We have looked at those before, but they've gotten rather intense. I don't know, there seems to be something weird about the bottom of this where she's grabbing it, and I think it's like longer, or there's more nubs on here or something, because I just don't remember this much of it being visible, or maybe it's bigger. It just seems more beefy or something. There's something a little weird about that one. Okay, so then what's on with the eye? Yes. Okay, so I don't remember there being black scum all over the eye here and here. And these things, what the bleep are these dots? So I just saw those earlier today when I was looking. I've never seen these poke holes. Somehow, I don't know what that is, but there were not little chewed on poke holes everywhere. And they're like everywhere. Look, they're all here. So these poke holes are totally new. They're all here. Some up in there. So she's covered like with poke holes here. So on the neck, everywhere. So the whole thing is covered with these like, it looks like, I don't know, staple marks or something. Maybe she got the jab. It's the new quantum tattoo jab that really does look like that, actually. Which, if that's not creepy enough. And then I was looking at the staining here also, the staining coming down the face. Although I'm not really seeing it. Oh, there it is. It's there. Okay, so the staining on the face. So I don't remember this. I don't remember it all being dark over here. She's got a black eye now. This side is, I don't know what, is there just way pollution on this side? But we didn't have like a polluted side before. This ear is all polluted. It's black under there. So she's not looking that good. Maybe it's a sign of the times. Okay, I think that was it. So yeah, the slate, the staining, the eyes, and the staple marks or whatever, the punch holes are the things that I noticed. The skirt wasn't gathered like it is now. Yeah, let's see if it's a recent one or we're talking about an old one here. Third. Yeah, I don't remember like this and then this. That was a long time ago though. Although I think there might be more crinkling right here now than I remember. But overall, this looks fairly similar. The only thing I would say is this little wrinkle here, it kind of reverses back, and I don't remember that little wrinkle. So yeah, more changes. These staple marks especially, though. You can even see them fairly far away. And I'm looking on my small screen right now, and I can still see them. So yeah, it's like the pyramids, sort of. I don't, she got smaller. The pedestal got larger. It's the left eye too. Isn't that the one we see black on celebrities? I don't know. I don't really keep up with that one. Near the tablet, that's what I was talking about. Near the tablet. Near the tablet. Wait. Where is it? Oh, yeah, that wrinkle? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with you then. But yeah, the staining actually is, I don't know, I think these might be just kind of indicative of what the current timeline is looking like. With these stains and staple marks. They really do look like the quantum dots, the poke that, they showed like a stamp thing like that with multiple dots. So maybe that's, I don't know, maybe these things just change to match what's going on. I watched the film Judge Dredd. The final fight was in the Statue of Liberty, and it looked very nice and female. Yeah, and thinner, and just, kind of a more beautiful face. But later this changed and became more male. Has anybody watched The Mummy's March? I heard about it, but I didn't really look into it. It definitely looked creepy. I mean, who would... I can't even really imagine that. I don't know, like, it used to be that they were like, oh, these are such precious crumbly artifacts, and ancient mummies of Egypt's royal pharaohs emerged from their resting places Saturday and were paraded through the streets of Cairo to a new home. What sounds like the plot of a movie was part of a lavish celebration of Egypt's history. The mummies of Ramses the Great and 21 other parts of the pharaoh's golden parade, a highly anticipated event organized by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism. Okay, so, well, I guess they're somewhat protected, but still. The carriages carried 22 ancient Egyptian royal mummies depart from the Egyptian Museum in Cairo's Tahrir Square during the parade. Performers dressed in ancient Egyptian costume marched to the start of the parade. Okay, not as weird as I thought, but it's still a little weird. No change as she wasn't walking. Yeah, those are the older Mandelas on Statue of Liberty. I did look around the back and stuff, but I didn't see anything. I always feel each time I look that the foot is like a tiny bit higher. So I want to say that this time, but it's really, subtle. Okay, so get rid of those. So good find, John Austin. Sapioid was another commenter, was kind of noticing about the feet, just like human feet in general. And I don't know about you guys, but one thing I've definitely noticed is that when you have your foot, the smaller toes are like bending around. So they're kind of curled under. So it used to be that the toenails were right on the top of my foot, but now it's like they're rolling under or something. It's I don't know, kind of it's weird. Also, I want to say that the toenails are growing really slow. Like my fingernails are growing fast, but toenails are going really slow. The march was a couple days before the death of Prince Philip. Yeah, that's an interesting correlator, isn't it? King Seti, S-E-T-I, was written S-E-T-T-Y on the car. I mean, I don't know if there's like a different spelling in their language, but that could be it. It ended with a biblical pharaoh from the time of Moses. They said the ceremony closed the gate for Philip to reincarnate. You know, that's one of the things I've been kind of hearing in the spiritual community. We used to have this concept of reincarnation, but now it's like I'm seeing a lot of places saying that a lot of people won't be allowed to reincarnate on here anymore if they're not like the right energy. Otherwise, they're gonna have to go elsewhere or whatever. But other realities. The Arabic writing was not changed. Well, isn't it? Okay, let's see. Let's just make sure it didn't change, right? Seti. Seti the first. All right, it looks like it's still S-E-T-I. Is there any other kings? No, it's correcting it back to S-E-T-I. So they just misspelled it, did they? Yeah, so it is still S-E-T-I, so they just misspelled it apparently. The march was a few days after the Nile was blocked. The Nile was the carrier of the kings from the lower to upper Egypt. I can read Arabic, and it was the same. Oh, cool, Shari. I didn't know you could read Arabic. That's cool. Look at the car carrying the mummy. Wait, there's a whole bunch of them, aren't there? That's not getting me anywhere. Oh, it's parade of monies. That's why. Gotta type it right. Now I'm checking a bunch of them. Queen Amos, Nefertari. TA. Oops. Ramses 9. S-E-T-Y. King Seti, S-E-T-Y. So, King Seti the First. Yeah, it's definitely misspelled. Menhotep. That one looks alright. I wonder if the mummies are even really in there. I mean, they could just make these cars up and just have anything in there. Because you can't see them in there, so... Back to Creator Studio. Feature. This one was an interesting one. So this one, not really a Mandela, but it's just kind of goes with this timeline. Someone mentioned that there was some kind of prophecy about the pharaohs marching or returning to walk the earth. I don't get to hear all of it. All right, prophecy. All right, I don't really find in it. So I'm gonna have to cry uncle on that one. They made the interior filled with nitrogen so the mummies would be safe. Yeah, I'm so distrustful now. I'm like, they could say anything. I mean, they could have just like done that and then really had the mummies in some other mode of transport where they'd be safe. There are few articles that say a few pharaohs had non-human DNA. I mean, if they really did, are they going to blab that? I don't think it would get out. Yeah, they spend millions for a ceremony and misspelled the name of a king. Yeah. Yeah, and like everybody knows Seti, it's not like some weird one that nobody knew. Not like everybody, but I mean, most people do know how to spell that. Okay, picture jokes. So this one is from John Higgins. I just thought it was funny because I had on Elvis. So apparently there's a rumor that this other guy, Bob Joyce, is Elvis. So he's about the right age if Elvis was older. And if you listen to him, he sings just like Elvis. I don't want to play it because I'll probably get a copyright. But, and I was like pretty skeptical. But man, when they put the two faces up, I mean, and there was one where they showed like both of them have this little kind of indent on above their eyelash or their eyebrow there. And this guy totally sounds like Elvis when he sings. So, they had a side by side. See, like the nose looks similar. The way he holds his mouth looks similar. He even still has the sideburns. And the wrinkle, there's like a big wrinkle right there that kind of goes. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if, the timeline is just trolling us on this business, but it's interesting. I mean, because there's always this rumor, oh, Elvis isn't dead. So, of course, I always just laughed at that baloney. But now I'm like, what if the timeline really coughed up? So you see there's like a little dent there, and then there's a little dent there. The noses are so close. And see, you can't really see the lips because he's got all this beard hair and stuff on it. But he even kind of has the similar hair, and he wears these same kind of shirts, and he really sounds just like Elvis when he sings. So apparently, this dude is a preacher right now. Preacher Bob Joyce, Joyce. So it's obviously not a Mandela, but I don't know, this timeline loves this kind of baloney so much. Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if we get unicorns, Elvis is alive, and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, definitely look up his voice. He so sounds like Elvis. When I first read this, I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, dang. Look at the ear. Ears are unique. Let's see. I was kind of looking to see if I could get a close enough view, but you got this shaggy hair business. So you can't see Elvis's ear hardly. And then, let's see. You can't hardly see either one of them's ears because they're so shaggy. The hair is obviously. That's no good. Anyway, if it is Elvis, he definitely looks better than he did before. See, it's so fuzzy, then you can't see over there. It's weird because the ear here almost just looks fake or something, and then you can't see his. This one's really close. Again, you can't see the ear though. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting trolled by reality again. Yeah, you just can't see the ears on these people. All right, so anyway, I give up on that one, but I don't remember Priscilla having any children other than her daughter with Elvis. Yeah, that's what I remember. She has children now? More of them? Been hearing for some time now that JFK Jr. and even Diana are alive. I think the Emmy is brewing something. Yeah, well, somebody maybe will show up. Well, the JFK Jr. thing, I don't know how. It's a total mystery to me how it came about, but QAnon somehow thought that like one of the dead Kennedys was gonna come back to life, was always alive, and was is behind the scenes or something. I'm like, how did they come up with that guy? I mean, like, of all people. I mean, he's a Democrat too, so I'm like the only Democrat they like apparently, who's dead. I thought ears continue to grow. Yeah, they do in this time on actually, so he should have a little bit bigger ears, but again, I can't really tell by those photos. They're all even the ones that should show his ear, the ear is weirdly fuzzy. Okay, so yeah, how many kids does Priscilla Presley have? Two children, one of whom is her child. Dang it. Right when I got to the good sentence. One of whom is her child with Elvis, Liz Marie Presley. That better be Lisa Marie Presley, not Liz Marie Presley. Elvis Presley has, as many would expect, just one child. Lisa Marie Presley. Okay, so typo. As he did not have children with any other women. Priscilla began a 22-year relationship with Marco Garibaldi, with whom she had her second child, a son, Navarone Garibaldi, born in 1987. He started up them, let's see, and as a musician, he started up Them Guns, an alternative rock band which Navarone has said was influenced by Nirvana and Nine Inch Nails. They have played sold-out shows all over the world, the Viper Room, the King's Head Club, and Hoxton. I'm thinking that's supposed to be Houston, but who the heck knows. After breaking up with Garibaldi, Priscilla had some short-term liaisons, but no other children. Okay, so she's got two in this timeline. I thought she just had Lisa Marie, so that is interesting. So it's not adopted, though. They didn't say anything about that. Need inputs in, welcome. Jumping ships in, Olivier Henry. Is it an ME for anyone that our body can grow all new veins if suffering from vein thrombosis? Yeah, like big ones, I would say yes. And I think I've mentioned that before. The regrowing thing is kind of getting more and more. Like little microscopic veins probably were in my old timeline. I mean, okay, so let's talk about the. Okay, this is another personal one I've noticed. I used to have a lot of problems with my hair getting all static electricityed. I have really fine hair, and there were days when it was like, psh, just brushing it was a problem because I bring the brush close and it just all stick out onto the brush, and I just realized that I haven't had that in like 2 years. I have not even one time, and it was kind of a thing that would happen fairly often with me anytime it was dry out, and I was wondering if anybody else has noticed that lack of static cling on the hair. And even the clothing, I can't even remember the last time I had any major static cling problems with anything I wore. Okay. All right, so this one, we've talked about derechos before. So what's a derecho? It's like this sudden violent winds that unpredictably show up. So apparently they're getting more next level now. So basically they just kind of blast down from the clouds like a giant hair dryer. So they actually can get up to winds up to like about a Cat 2 to 3 hurricane now. These derechos. Remember when I first pointed them out, I said I wouldn't be surprised if these got dangerous. Well, yeah, now they can be a Cat 2 to 3 hurricane. And there's a term called the whale's mouth when these things strike. So this video is on Reddit, and it's called Trying to Escape Dangerous Derecho, the Whale's Mouth. I'm not going to play too much of it, but I can like snap forward. But basically this guy's driving along, and he gets he gets underneath this cloud, and it's like this is pitch black almost looking under here. So he's like blasting along. All right, there's a point where it gets crazy. I think that's right here. And it looks like he stops and turns around at that point. I'll play that one little bit. That's just a few seconds of turnaround time. Didn't show it very good, did it? Because it froze up. All right, let's try one more time. All right, so then he blasts back. Okay, so this apparently is called the whale's mouth when it's like this. And I have not heard that term, but I have also not heard that they can get to be like Cat 2 to 3. A derecho from Spanish straight. Straight. I thought it was right. It's right and left. Derecho, I thought was the right, like the right side and the left side. Derecho. No, maybe that's derecha. A la derecha. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Whale's mouth cloud, a massive dark cloud that literally looks like a whale's open mouth. These clouds arrive after passing of shelf clouds. So it's really a thing. So when I first read that, I just thought somebody was being flowery, but no, it's a thing. It's called the whale's mouth. Fire NATO sundogs, other weird phenomena. Looks like we've seen all these, though. Sea smoke. This occurs when freezing winds flow across warm water, causing fog to rise up and create a swirly wall. Sea smoke can resemble a giant wave. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. Sea smoke. Thunder, snow, fire NATO, gust NATO, a whirlwind that forms on the edge of a thunderstorm. Despite what the name suggests, gust NATOs are not tornadoes. Okay, derecho must include wind gusts of at least 58 mph, and its wind damage swath must extend more than 240 miles. The term straight line wind damage sometimes is used to describe derecho damage. Drunken forests. I have not heard of that one. Drunken forests, when trees in a forest are slanted. This phenomena typically occurs because of melting permafrost or permanently frozen ground that causes the ground to sink and trees to grow at unique angles. Drunken forest. I have not heard that one before. There's a whale. Mackerel sky, a sky checkered with cirrocumulus clouds that resemble fish scales. Cirrocumulus clouds are small rounded puffs. Mare's tail. I've heard of mare's tail. Drunken forests. Let's just check that one real quick. Nope. Are we going there? Okay, so it just looks like the soil is letting him tip over. It's not that weird. I seem to recall years ago seeing one where all of the trees went like to the side and then up, like every last one of them. So they were trying to figure out, oh, here, this one. This is the one. Like why this was like this. And they didn't call it drunken forest then. The other thing when I saw this is I thought they all have a really similar bend on it. Now it doesn't look that similar. So, I mean, they were like identical bends. Now they're not. All right, so they're saying, I guess, that the soil lets them tip at odd angles. This one is rather interesting. So it looks like that it tipped violently that way and then grew up and then it tipped back and then I don't know. Okay, so there used to just be this one forest like that. That looks like the same one I just saw, but apparently it's spreading and it's drunken forests. Ooh, look at these ones, they're all sitting on the ground. Drunken forest. I'm going to write that one down. Oh, why did it do all that? I don't know. Oh yeah, that ground that looked like a giant trampoline. That was weird. Nope, haven't heard of that, but there's this asthma spray that obviously is an easy. It's not a prevention of the sea. It is okay. So the one that it is, if assuming that it's the same videos that I saw, it's called Pulmicort, and it's basically typically an asthma medicine that's a corticosteroid, and you just like puff it in and it just is anti-inflammatory corticosteroid. So they use it for asthma is basically an inflammation problem, so this tones it back. So one of the doctors tried it for the C and found a lot of improvement. Basically it keeps things calm down in the lung department. Anytime I get a respiratory virus, I actually now take corticosteroids if it's getting in the lungs much. I also use Broncaid, which is over the counter expectorant kind of a thing. I don't know if that works for everybody as well as it works for me, but the Broncaid is kind of the magic bullet for me keeping my lungs free of buildup. And I've really noticed that if I just tackle it immediately at the beginning, at the minute I start to feel any kind of congestion in the lungs, I immediately just treat for it. I don't wait. And it's pretty much common sense and pretty much accepted that early treatment is better for most illnesses. Has anybody seen the new vaccine that the U.S. military made to cure all form of the C? I think I read a little bit about it, but nothing really sticks out. It was kind of complicated. Like they redid a virus or something. Let's see. So it hasn't reached approval yet. Warren's third poke dose needed to beat the variations. Of course it does. Okay, new hope for C vat poke that protects against all. Nanoparticle immunization technology, which combines fragments of different virus into a single particle and loads it up into a poke. It's effective at protecting against large spectrum of C viruses. Both also obtained promising results. So they make some kind of Franken virus. Nanoparticle pokes are reportedly more cost-effective and easier to develop and store, qualities that will become all the more crucial when the front lines of Pokenation campaigns shift to more rural and remote parts of the country. Developed its nanoparticle poke using a cage made of ferritin in an iron-rich blood protein. The ferritin cage served as a base for constructing multimeric nanoparticle aggregating bits of spike protein from different creatures to reach an optimal level of compatibility with the immune system. The average antibody titer elicited by the resulting poke was nearly 50,000, a remarkably robust response compared to that of recovered C patients who have also been pokinated. It's also eclipsed the response generated by mRNA vaccine poke. Keep forgetting to use the other words. Okay, so it's a nanoparticles were of the mosaic variety, consisting of 60 protein fragments that were identical in appearance and function, but in actuality taken from up to 8 different C creatures. Testing against a homotypic nanoparticle, a uniform structure of SARS-CoV-2 fragments only, the mosaic nanoparticles were proven to have more potent binding and neutralizing capability. So it's a nanoparticles conglomerate, apparently. Do nanoparticle vaccines work in animals other than mice? According to the first study, which gives injections to macaque monkeys, the answer is yes. Okay, so this is interesting. We don't have enough weird things poked in us. For a couple of years now, we've been hearing about the dangers of nanoparticles. So now you can get them injected. Woohoo! Since when does the military invent things to cure people? Well, it's another poke. I'm sure they're gonna want to give you boosters and all the regular. They speak about effect amplification in vaccine in the poke. I think you're talking about poke enhanced illness. Switch out the V word there. It's kind of complicated, but basically in certain situations, a poke can actually, I mean, they have officially agreed that a poke can cause enhanced illness, and actually the C viruses in general, that general class, are known to have a lot of problems there, and is why past pokes have not achieved approval for C viruses. Okay, so I got that one. Got that one. Got that one. I only have got one left. It's like the world's shortest show. So this one is from Mark Tyus. Good find. It's the thumbnail. So first he said pink underwing moth, and I pulled up the images and I just saw the moth. So the moth is somewhat interesting, but it's the caterpillar that's interesting. So the caterpillar, I don't know, it looks like some cartoon character or something. It has like these fake eyes and everything. So, you know, we've been keeping an eye on these moths, and this is the first I've seen of these things. Can you imagine seeing that? You're like trying to pull out your tomatoes or something. You'd think you smoked something. There's the head. So yeah, good find. There's one laying on a leaf. So it's weird. It's like, it looks like a fetus with a giant ookie head. Even the tail, it looks kind of like the tail of a fish or something. I mean, the caterpillars used to just be like one long skinny thing. Now they're just, I don't know. The timeline's really messing with these things. It really is like something out of a nightmare. Wake lows. Wake lows. All right, look up wake lows. Formed due to adiabatic warming in the wake of mature squall lines in the back edge of their rain shields, where evaporative cooling is unable to offset warming due to atmospheric subsidence or downward motion. They can be caused by gravity waves which duct through boundary layers which are deep and cold to north of a weather front. All right. Wake low or wake depression is a mesoscale low pressure area which trails the mesoscale high following a squall line. Due to the subsiding warm air associated with the system's formation, clearing skies are associated with the wake low. That's the first sentence. The end of that sentence is the first one I've understood. Once difficult to detect in surface weather observations due to their broad spacing, the formation of mesoscale weather station networks has increased their detection. Severe weather in the form of high winds can be generated by the wake low when the pressure difference between the I don't know. I cry uncle. What is it exactly? So clear skies after a squall, I guess? How heavy winds developed after Tuesday's... All right, this one might be a little bit more like English. I think that's part of what some of these explanations, it's like, we'll just make it so complicated that everybody will just give up and nod their head and say, okay, it
The
must
high
be
winds
true.
that we saw late Tuesday were associated with something called a wake low. And you might say,
I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. Be quiet. It's a small area of low pressure that sometimes develops behind a line of thunderstorms. Small area of low pressure. Apparently, it causes winds then. The wake low forms 30 to 50 miles behind the storm in a spot where the air is warming. This creates a strong contrast between the wake low and an area of high pressure located along with the storms. Air will rush from high pressure to low pressure. This generates strong winds, which get more intense where the pressure is lowest. Wake low setup can cause wind gusts 60 to 70 mph or higher, as well as sustained winds of 40 to 50 mph for up to an hour. Wake lows are not very common, but they are often responsible for high wind events that happen after a line of storms pass through. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Any excuse to have more extreme weather, seems like. It looks like Jaffa in Star Trek. How did those look like again? Doesn't want to tell me. There are no results. All right, must be spelling it wrong. Oh, okay, so wake lows caused a capsized boat here. Lifeguards are still looking for survivors. Why are they inventing these new stuff that nobody understands? Yeah, you know, it's getting so complicated. I'm like, does anybody understand that stuff? Dang. Did you hear about the new Dead Sea Scroll frags being found? I did hear they found new caves and stuff. I'm like, that whole thing is such a mess. I mean, it happened at a totally different time for me, much more recently. They didn't have so many caves. I was just like, of course, there's now more. Yeah, see, for me, the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered like after I was born and already at least somewhat grown up. I think that might have been around the 90s when they found those. And I remember it was after I had internet, so yeah, I don't think it could be before that. Because I heard it and was looking at it on the internet. Jaffa and Stargate. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of something, but I don't know what. Somebody actually put like some kind of Pokemon character up on one of the Reddit channels that it reminded them of. That was pretty close. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this reality is still kind of gross. We just have to keep trudging forward. The Dead Sea Scrolls, they are calling it a miracle because they have been looking for so long and nothing. Yeah, sure. They were hiding right in plain sight, let me guess. Okay, anyways, that's about it. I'm done unless you guys got anything. It's going to be time to close up shop in a record 1 hour. It's a miracle. You know, the funny part is that when I first started this a couple years ago, I'm like, oh, you know, I'll be lucky if I have an hour's worth of material. Because I just figured the Mandela would slow down. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'll be able to keep this up. But, yeah, getting it under 2.5 hours seems to be the actual problem. Now, okay. Mammatus clouds have been on. Yep. You know, these stories, I do remember something about sheep herders, but then Mandela, I do also remember later hearing about, I don't remember anything about a man who was tracking his father's killer, but I do remember him taking the pots back and burning some of the scrolls for heat before realizing they shouldn't. I do remember that, but I just remember him like finding them and taking them home. We'll see if it picks up even more when CERN starts back up. Yeah, you know, I was hearing that they started up and now they're saying they didn't. I'm a little confused on that. I swear people were on here saying they already started up and now they're not going to till like next year or something. Yeah, sorry, you guys gonna cough up some more Mandelas. I don't know, it's just been kind of slow lately. So you'll only get an hour. Sorry, guys. All right, I think I'm taking off. I even looked. I looked on my usual sources, and I just didn't find anything. So it's not there. It's not there. Anyways, thank you for coming, and I did still give you. You guys did give me a lot of the Mandelas I did have, so that's good. I appreciate it. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.